If we're rolling, where are the wheels?
That's very true. Show and Tell Boston. I'm here with my co-host.
Mashiri, the god.
Yoki the Great.
I am Malt Schlitzmann, the one and only.
And I am Findlee Abraham.
So, for everyone who doesn't know, can I get you guys to... You guys weren't my co-host, so I was, I'm sorry. Like, when I tried to introduce it, I was like, my co-host. Awkward.
Hey, Jameson did that.
But for those who don't know you, can I get you guys to explain to who you guys are and what you guys do?
I'm a writer, director, poet out of Worcester, Massachusetts. I've got the greatest actor in New England sitting right behind me, the star of the soon to debut instant classic, Let Me Buy Your Death, one Mr. Findlee Abraham.
Well, yeah, he said that's me. I'm also, like I said, I'm an actor, model. I'm from Rhode Island, Woonsocket to be precise. Don't really fancy the traffic here, but it's been an amazing debut for this particular film. It's Let Me Buy Your Death. You probably already know about this, but give you a little intro of it. But yes, I'm involved in this, and it's been an amazing role. He has a director and a writer. Oh, Jesus, splendid. The entire shoot session was just amazing. I wouldn't go into details now because I know you probably still have questions about that.
I don't blame you. It's like having Quentin Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson here right now, you know?
But yeah, pretty much. I'm glad to be here and nice to meet everyone, and I'm looking forward to this.
For those... How would you explain it? What is Let Me Buy Your Death?
So early on in the pandemic, like a lot of folks, I lost some friends. And one question that kept haunting me was there anything I could have done? Like, was there any amount of money I could have given them that would keep them here? And so that kind of became the origin of the idea of selling your death. Like, everybody knows, selling your soul, and then you die instantly. But what if you're selling your death? Like, what could a death be used for? What would eat a death? Who would collect them? What do you collect them for? And in about 7 pages, I managed to answer none of those questions.
I'm going to ask them again.
I was going to ask, but so who are the characters in it? Tell me a little bit more.
So it starts off with my friend Mike. You see him, he's kind of bloody, he's chewed up. He's got a gun to his forehead, and then stepping out of the darkness is, I'm gonna be honest, the coolest dressed person I've ever seen.
It was a cool outfit.
I ain't gonna lie, when I seen it gave Candyman. I was
exactly.
I was like, it's a vibe. Yeah, we got some. I'm not talking about original Candyman, not the newest one, the original. Like,
rest in peace, Tony. But yeah, that is when I met Findlee first in a Zoom-based group run by Xavier Garcia.
Xavier,
yeah, shout out Xavier. I heard his voice. I didn't have the script yet, but I knew I've got to write something for Findlee. This dude has the sauce. He's got the skills. He's got the talent, and I've got to get him in front of a camera. So it was really lucky. We didn't have too much lead-in time. We didn't have a lot of pre-pro, but he was available for the day, and I'm just super grateful.
Amazing.
So with the idea of you selling or this person asking, can I buy your death? What comes after the death? Is that just it?
So in the story, this, you sell the death, and then you continue to live on the rest of your natural life as though you had not died. And this is a source of supernatural power. So Findlee's character he's the sin eater, and should I get into the story behind the story?
As long as you don't just don't spoil it for the people who are gonna watch it. But
okay.
Try to dibble dabble in it.
So the section we filmed, it's one location. It's around 7 to 8 pages from what I want to be a longer feature, which is the story about Findlee through the ages fighting a group of cannibal wizards, where instead of buying death, they eat life.
It's a little
Well,
plot twist there, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie too. I thought you were putting on an accent, but that's like the real thing.
That's a real thing. The golden voice.
I heard that a lot too. Yeah.
Like I know they make these apps where specific voice actors can like wake people up. You gotta get in on that. Like, wake up, princess.
Tell me about the production behind the film too.
So initially, there's a bridge between Worcester and Shrewsbury that has these really cool sail-shaped LED lights, and I was really hoping to be able to film there because there's like a little cutout. It's a very interesting vista. We couldn't quite get it to work. We would have had to shut down the road, bring in the state, and we only had like 2 weeks from when we decided to shoot the thing to when everybody was going to show up. So we used a park near my house that was like a real easy walk. So we had plenty of parking. We were able to get in and out within the time limit because the park closed at like twilight.
Yeah.
And
It's a nice spot too.
we had to show up. We started by like 5, so we had a very narrow window to get it all done. And everybody was just so professional and so on the ball and ready that like even though we only had 2 weeks, they aced it.
So being somebody who's like directing the videos and stuff, most like I'm presuming that you're helping out on the screenwriting as well. How do you determine what's more important to focus on when you're on like a time budget and like a money budget? Like how do you know like what to cut out and like what to leave in to make sure that the work becomes what you're looking for?
I was pretty lucky because I had about I'd been writing this script for like 2 years, so I had it down to like the essence where it was just kind of like a back and forth dialogue, and I wanted to have more around that, but we ran out of time, so we had to just stick to what was written, the images that we needed to convey exactly what we wanted to convey. And because everyone was so familiar with the script, we were all on the same wavelength.
Okay.
I honestly I can't take a lot of credit for it. I was mostly sitting in the back going, "Good work, everybody."
Can you tell us why it was a 2-week project, and also I know you guys were self-funded. Like, how was that whole before the pre-production? How was that?
Why did we only have 2 weeks, Corey? Not to throw you under the bus, I think that was when the DP was available.
Okay.
That day. We had like one day where he was available, and then he was going to leave the country. So that was a fun bit of pressure.
He was going to London.
Yeah, he was leaving for London.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like within like 12 hours of the wrap of shoot. The thing that I had a very specific image in mind for the end where I'm not going to spoil it, but I wanted something. You know Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know the scene where EVA Unit 1 eats the Angel and takes in the S2 engine? Yeah, where it goes berserk and like it gets down to the ground like I wanted that image with something stretching out of Findlee's mouth. I could not get the prop right. I bought multiple molds. I spent like $40 on candy to try and get it looking right on camera, and I couldn't make it work. Like that's like really my only lingering regret.
So, Findlee,
Yes.
let me get into you real quick.
All right.
When you read the script, what made you say yes? How did you feel about it?
How do I start? Well, he reached out to me one day when I was actually walking, and I saw the email. I go, Malt. Sounds a little familiar. Then I read it. He goes, oh, just so you know, remember I messaged you about this a couple months ago? And I go, yeah. It's the scripts. And I read the scripts again. I go, oh, it's giving me somewhat like a Lucifer vibe. If you watch the show Lucifer on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's giving me somewhat that vibe. And I'm coming in, someone who plays the piano and also tries to buy another person's death. Typically, when you see how the show is in Lucifer, it's more of a what to desire. Give me your desires for you. And if you fall into the desires, is one, right? So it's the desires of people. Lucifer's a character. But my own bit now is I'm bringing the oral feel, and I've always wanted and fancied genres of movies that actually goes in the horror, thriller, sci-fi kind of thing, supernatural. Those are my big things. So having to have him send me this idea, I'm like, hey, I actually like the script. And I'm a visual thinker, so when I'm reading everything, I'm actually seeing myself acting it. That's how I know if it's a good shoot for me to participate in or not. Right from there, just reading the scripts, I go, okay, this makes sense. Ooh, yeah, I don't know, how do I play this? Okay, maybe it's not right for me. I'll let the producer know what the writer know instantly. But this one it stood out to me actually because again, the show Lucifer was my favorite when I watched Netflix. So having to see this one that the writing kind of reminds me of it, and I get to be the bad guy that gets to eat your death.
So you are the villain. Your character is the villain.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say it's a bit more complicated than that, but
Okay.
I feel like it's something beyond good and evil. You know what I mean? It's something more like a choice. Like an opportunity. You know.
like, if you do something good for bad reasons, like what's the actual impact there? Like, does that make you villainous?
It's kind of like those TikTokers who like when they give like money to like poor people, then they have their phone out.
But they're
Yeah.
feeding you, but I'm also making a mockery.
Exactly.
So how would you kind of describe your character, and how did you get into the mindset? What were you trying to get people to feel, or at least like convey?
Well, when I get into mindset, I love to get directly into the writer's mindset because my kind of thing is I bring your ideas to life. So how can I portray exactly what you have written down, every little syllable and every word, every aspect of it? Let's put it this way. Having the idea of what I understood from the script before even giving me a breakdown was I'm buying someone's death. So they get to have another chance at life. What would they do with it? Would they mess it up? I want to use a cross word, but would they mess it up or would they do something important with that opportunity? Right? And one of the lines there was more like, so what happens if I wake up the next day and I feel like dying again? Just like, okay, now I've bought your death and I've given you this amount. What would you do with the money I've given to you? If you didn't have this money earlier, what would you have done? But if you wake up tomorrow and you have this amount of money, would something have changed in your life? Would an outcome change? Let's say you have rent, so you have something due, and someone just says, hey, you know what, if you give me that shoe, I'll give you $1,000. And you go, what the fuck? Just a shoe? That's a little fishy. What's behind it? Why? Is there something else? Like, am I holding the, what they call it, the Mexican cartel? Am I holding them something just for giving me my shoe and giving me $1,000? Well, am I selling my soul or something?
Yeah.
So it kind of feels that way. But and then in my end, like he explained, like think of it like the Avengers, MCU, the TVA, time variance, right? Where this person gets to go around and steal people's time to prolong their own time. Loki in this sense, right? But not in the end. It's a similar analogy, but in this one, it's more of I'm going around getting people's time. The more time or death they buy to me, the longer I live. So if you want money and you want to enjoy your life, give me your death.
So you're collecting multiple deaths.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So
It makes me immortal at the end of the day.
I want to know, did you have to do any method acting? And if you did it affect your actual real life, your relationships, your people, your...
No, I'm an analyst by profession.
Johnny Depp or something?
He might be.
Jim Carrey going all crazy.
So I'm an
Stuck in the
analyst
role
by
for 2
profession,
years.
right? So my main job is to observe people. If you're observing people, if you work in the police department or other place where you have to analyze humans, you try to, or therapists, right, counseling, you have to make sure you leave your private life separate from your business. Because if you're doing therapy, eventually, psychotherapy, folks, you see a lot of patients that are cuckoo, right? But eventually, they get to you. You have to constantly, a therapist always has a therapist too, right? Because I can't deal with all of this, and I'm a therapist, and all that. If I go home, I'm like, I've had so much shit today. Don't even talk to me, okay? Because it's got in my head, and I can start acting that way. So it's like I learned how to keep that barrier between my profession and actual acting. So that's what helped me a lot in making this movie.
You don't want to live long? You know what I mean? You don't want to take it out
If
the story.
if there was an actual
might
secret
be like
sauce
hoodoo.
to that,
I
saying, I might swindle. So.
my sources are private. I'm sorry. I cannot divulge the source of my information.
We got him. Club 33. We got him. Wrap it up.
Can I ask, without giving too much away, when you wrote this, like, who are the people that are kind of like getting targeted? And then when you guys expand this idea, what other situations or what kind of people are going to be like the target of this kind of person who may or may not be a villain?
It's people on the margins.
Suicidal.
Yeah. When you I've been in that situation where $100 to $200 is the difference between dying right now and making it through tomorrow. So like that's who I'm writing for, because I mean, things are going great now, but there's still a part of me that is like that feral, desperate.
You know what just remind me of? Because I know you watch anime. Platinum's End, where people are dying from either disease or suicidal, and then the angels come and save them, and they have an opportunity to either live again to save people, or but like this dude was literally jump off a building to kill himself, and the angel saved him. Was like, well, we ain't gonna let you die, we're gonna let you save people. So it just hit me when you said that, and you was like, oh yeah, like the people who want to give up. I said, wow, I fucking seen the anime like that, like, but it was more angels rather than like selling their deaths. You know what I mean, like.
Yeah, see how inspiration can come from multiple places. You could come from anime, a whole show, put all of them together.
One of the biggest, most direct inspirations for this was actually oh my God, it's the Christmas movie with the guy on the bridge.
Why not think about Harold and Kumar?
I was looking for Krampus, but I don't think any of us are right.
It's What a Wonderful Life, or It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh,
yeah,
that one.
It's a Wonderful Life was a big inspiration.
Why do I remember the Donald Duck version of that? With his grandpa.
Yeah,
I remember that version.
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
It's similar. It's similar though. It's similar. I just remember the Donald Duck version. That's all.
It's hard to forget that voice.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, that story. But it's kind of similar to Wonderful Christmas.
Bahamba.
But yeah.
So just the like you're at the absolute end of your rope, and there's a supernatural like imposition. So how do you cope with that? Like, how do you stay depressed knowing that there's more to life than just your overwhelming debts?
They should ask all men that.
Yeah, I was wondering too. So like when you make this deal, you're not giving them like your depression. You're just giving them
cash.
It's just your death.
Okay.
It's like it's the ideal of it, right? Like I'm assuming, but it's the ideal. Like you're down in the dumps. You feel like the world's against you, nobody's there, and then you get this opportunity to sell the ideal of you wanting to die, and now you feel reborn and living again, but you don't know what's gonna come after that. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not like you know where you're gonna die or how you're gonna die, but you just sold the ideal of what death is to you. So now you're like stuck in this ideal in your mentally limbo of like, how am I gonna die now? Like, you know what I mean? Am I gonna die? Like, you know what I mean?
So,
like, it's just like this realm that opens up.
That's interesting. So basically your character is he's
Getting your death.
getting all these deaths, but no inheritance from that? He's not like, there's no, whatever they're carrying with them, you don't get that?
It's more of so if you're, let's say, 16 years old and you're depressed so much and you suicided, if you were meant to live up to 80, 90 years, I just took all that years from you, added to my own years. So now I could go up to 150, and then I see another 16-year-old or 18-year-old that's meant to live up to 90 something or 100.
So you get the
and
kids.
I take, exactly. It could be kids, it could be an adult, you could be 30, but you're meant to live up to 70, and I take that 40, add to my own years. So you see, eventually.
So now you're gonna die tomorrow.
It's kind of big mom. You know how she takes
Yeah. Huh.
Wait. So when someone buys your death, do you just die then, or I'm just?
Oh no, you keep living. You live the rest of the days, but the death that carries with it all of those extra years you would have otherwise lost.
Oh, so your life turns into a Final Destination for the rest of your life, basically. Like, you just gotta avoid death for like the rest of your life, but every day something is gonna be trying to kill you. Like
that is where the story actually goes.
Man, okay, now we get into the beans.
Yeah.
The baked beans.
You see, so early on, Findlee buys this character's death, and that character stumbles into the conspiracy that Findlee is fighting against. And now Findlee has to keep this person alive, because if they die, the sale gets canceled. All that power goes away.
So it's a trade by barter. So if I take your death and you have 70 years to go, that's mine now. So I have to fulfill my obligations to keep you alive. Otherwise, the years goes back to you.
So as long as you alive, they
shoulder.
would go through whatever. But once you pass, they can get their years back because like the contract is void, basically.
Exactly.
And how did you come up with this
That's a good
character? I know
one.
we're talking about the evil wizards that eat life, but how did that transfer to like let me buy your death?
I ain't gonna lie, I like the evil wizard, but maybe because I'm a Dungeons and Dragon player, but I do like the evil wizard one.
I do have to confess, it's most directly inspired by the Tremere from Vampires of the World of Darkness. Yeah, blood drinking wizard vampires.
I like the werewolf apocalypse one.
That's a fun one. Weird focus on breeding.
Yeah,
Kind of off-putting. Little. So I don't know he honestly kind of it sounds weird to say this, but like Findlee's character walked onto this page fully realized. Like I honestly can't really. I don't feel like I can take credit for it because you're all creatives. Sometimes you're just the conduit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're just the conduit, and I feel like that's how it happened here. The idea of the Grim Reaper is so well established that it's really easy to play off of that because you know what your audience knows already.
That's actually a good insight because when you said the Grim Reaper, and I think about the importance of that person's job. I say that person, we know if the Grim Reaper, God, what gender, but that person's job is like to take death, and if anything happens to the Reaper, nobody dies. And people think it's a good thing, but when you start getting overpopulated and nobody's dying, that becomes a problem. You know what I mean? So like I can see how like the ideal can come, like, you know what I mean?
And it also it leads to which could also be for the sequel in the future, where if I'm taking all this death, I'm cheating death at the Grim Reaper himself.
True.
Eventually, he's gonna come find me to collect. So okay, because my job is to collect death, right? And this bloody wanker is just there taking all the death that I need. My job is to collect. So why are you taking it? I need those to continue my job, to stay on track, right, in my position. And you're just taking it. So eventually, he could probably come for my head, which now I have to watch out for the folks and protect them, but also protect
The final.
Exactly.
the final boss. There we go.
As you would say, Death started feeling like, you know, he ain't got nothing to lose. Man. You know what I mean? He got nothing going on. It's just like somebody stole my job. So yeah, it's just like, I can't just sit in there looking like a complete waste man. You know?
I ain't getting promoted because of this guy.
And so this 7-minute thing that you put together, this is exploring the character of the person selling it and not Finley's character.
They both get that they both get a bit of exploration. There's the interplay of the two characters where they're both kind of like drip feeding information to the audience. I wanted it to be a two-hander where both characters got to be, human, kind of.
In other words, you pretty much get to, as the audience watching it, you get to see the point of view or the insights, the storyline for each character. And you go, oh, that's why. And then you see the other character, my character, you go, oh, that's why. So it's like it's a thought in a thought in a thought.
Okay, that's wild. So you were.
No, go ahead.
This is 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
That's it. I need to see this. So it's 7 minutes long. How long did it take you to write this whole thing?
The first draft was around, I think it was 10 pages. I got that done in like 2-3 sittings, and it had just been like a slow, literally line by line, word by word process of trying to boil it down to the absolute essence.
I see. Wow.
It's like people, when I was started off as a screenwriter, all those 5 years ago, I would see people talking about like, I've been working on this for a decade, and I was just thinking, how? And like, no, now I completely understand it. It's on average 200 words to a single page of screenwriting, and every single one of those words is chosen agonizingly.
Oh my God.
But it's a lot of fun. Otherwise, I wouldn't
And it's
do it.
such a thick and rich story to get into 7 minutes.
Rich.
And that kind of goes into the next question I would want to ask, because I'm a big fan of like short films. And is there, like, as a director, right? Is there people you ever wanted to work with, like, you know how like the channel like on YouTube, like Omelet and stuff like that, like how they have a plethora of people who you know, send in their short films, and it's sometimes a lot is award-winning short films. And like, is there a certain crew you ever want to like try to work out with to make a film with?
Findlee, do you have anybody?
Can't think of off my head, but I know actors that I eventually want to get in the midst of them and work on or work with, because, you know, Hollywood, I'm not trying to be Hollywood because I know all the shenanigans going down there, but I want to be high enough to that level that you get recognized.
The Diddy parties are closed now. You know,
something
you
else is
actually got
out.
to work to get to where you want to be now.
Exactly.
You know? There's
So
no
it's
more.
like one thing I always tell myself is like, I don't want to be famous. I want to be known.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big difference with that. Famous is when you walk into stuff. Oh, Findlee! Oh my God, Findlee! Oh my God, Findlee! Can I have a picture? But known is, if you need someone who you just killed his dog and you need someone to be real mad, who do you think of? Oh, I need John Wick for this shit. Right? I know the man for this. Not because he's famous or because, you know, he's well known, but because he's the one that could get the job done, the exact thing. So if in a particular genre, there's one person that you could think of that could actually fulfill that genre properly well, or carry out that storyline idea in reality, not just, you know, on paper. So
I thought you would probably want to see like Idris Elba or something, man. Like,
he's on the list there. We got Idris, we got Denzel.
Yeah, I think he can give that. I think he can give that role too.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Speaking of that, can I get you to tell us about your writing career, how you got into it, where you want to go with it, what you really enjoy? Is it the horror genre? Tell us a little bit more.
I do. So I have been writing for the internet since I was 16. I'm not 16 anymore. Haven't been for a hot minute.
It's the mustache.
Thank you. I grew it myself.
Hey.
Raised in U.S.
Raising the U.S.
I've just fucked up. I've just failed constantly over and over again. I've lost jobs.
I think we all have, man. All right.
Yeah,
No, jobs lost me. I'm sorry. That's the arrogant answer.
I used to write for cracked.com and managed to fail out of that hard. I used to write for Something Awful, and yeah, that ended so badly somebody died.
Oh.
2 people. The dude and his mom both died.
What?
Yeah.
A little bit of backstory.
You told me about the baby oil, man.
That was something I don't talk about too often.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna buy it.
I mean, death has a price, right?
Yeah.
Who bought the death?
Right.
The readers, the fans. So yeah, I basically ran out of things I could possibly do, and like the great thing about Hollywood is that I gathered that I am slightly less awful than a lot of other people active in Hollywood right now.
Nice.
So, I can't really take credit for that because I wasn't born into the kind of debauched wealth where you'd buy 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Yeah.
But
We gotta do something a
3,000.
little less dangerous than Diddy parties.
Like Epstein Island.
Consensual Diddy parties.
The consensual Diddy party is crazy.
I do. One of my dream projects in the future, if I can pull this off, is something called Goth Girls Save the World.
Okay.
And
Sounds sexy.
Sounds like heroes.
Yeah,
the goal is to get as many goth women with OnlyFans in one room as possible at a time.
I'm liking this.
We're gonna call it Teen Titans.
Yeah. Correct. Raven is the ultimate cartoon goth girl, maybe.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I a bit older, I think, than that was. The Craft, Veruca Salt, if you're still around. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twitter user Titty Kona, if you're watching this, let's talk.
Everybody, Google it right now. Everybody, take your dicks out.
Yo.
Anyway.
This idea of this option,
Oh yeah, though it's just the like with the crisis facing young men in the world. The idea would be that all these goth girls get together to try and like brainwash men to the left.
Word. Let me know when y'all start filming that. You got any extras?
I will
ready to get
keep you all
brainwashed.
in mind. I had not told you about this idea yet, had I? Okay. It's in the early draft. It's I think technically still a fantasy.
Soon
We're
come.
gonna make it.
Soon to come.
soon I will be too.
So I really want to get into this mustache. What was the inspiration?
Oh man.
What is the reason?
The reason is I didn't leave my house for 5 years. My wife gave birth, I think it was 2 months before lockdown. So I was not washing, not taking care of the beard, because it's a little. So here's the fucking crazy thing.
It works for you.
Thank you.
I like it. It's like a little twirl in your evil.
It was. It's so much fun. Like,
It's me, Wario.
Eggman from Sonic.
curse you, Paw Patrol. But so I learned you can get postpartum psychosis without being partum. Like, I didn't have the baby. I didn't think not having the baby inside me would drive me crazy because it wasn't inside me to begin with. But I went batshit fucking crazy, and 2 years later, when I snapped out of it, I had a mustache wider than my head.
Nice.
And, like, I'm afraid to cut it too much because maybe it's load-bearing or something. I don't know. Maybe it's like the opposite of Goku's tail.
Listen, there's no problem of getting like that stress of the postpartum because like that's the same way when guys are gambling and they don't even play basketball, but they look at the game, they're getting stressed, and they're like, "Come on, put me on the court." And he's like, hey, "You can't be on the court. You're not professional." Like. Hopefully she's not watching it because I think that'd be a bad example. She's looking like, really? Basketball? You gonna compare it to basketball?
Does your baby play with your beard or?
Oh yeah, no, she loves it. She loves so much. I'm trying to get her to wear a fake mustache. She does. She doesn't like the feeling. She's very sensitive.
It does feel weird. It does. I tried it for acting. It doesn't feel right. I ain't gonna lie.
We're going to take a small break right now and we'll be right back.
Good. I gotta pee.
Show and Tell Boston, we're back with the cast and the crew and the director and writer of Let Me Buy Your Death. We just watched it and it was amazing. I really enjoyed like the conversation and everything the energy that it brought. I really loved it. Are you guys continuing those type of horror scripts? What's going on?
I mean, it is a hard time to write anything that isn't horror.
Yeah.
That's where my brain's at. That's where I'm feeling. So I think we are going to continue with the horror thriller line because it's like, yeah, I think it's when you have a low budget, that's what keeps the audience's attention. Is that taut plot.
And I want people to see the magic that I just saw with my eyes. So I know, is it December 13th? When is it that people are able to see this? When are you unveiling this?
Sorry.
No, I just saying we got the sneak peek. That's it.
December 13th at the Meat for Tea Film Festival in that's Western Massachusetts, right?
I believe so. Details soon.
All right, details soon.
And I want to know, like, what other scripts do you have coming up?
Oh man, I've been working on 2 pilots, one of which is called Government Exorcists: The Department of Infernal Affairs. And so basically the idea is that there's like 50 years after demons flood the earth, there's an underfunded government agency of supernatural social workers trying to help people survive like a demon-filled America. And
Sounds like the apocalypse.
oh, it's
It sounds like today.
oh man, those demons are among us, aren't they? The other script I've been working on is called oh my god.
Is it Going Into the Woods to Die?
Oh, I am so glad you asked about that. This is one I'm gonna try. Instead of writing a script ahead of time, I want to do something semi-improvised. I've got a group of 6 friends that we used to do improv in our 20s, and the idea is we are all going to go to a cabin, specifically trying to invoke a horror movie death. So there's a Ouija board. There's the summoning circle. Someone takes a shower.
Can I come?
Yeah,
How we done?
Can I
for
crash
you?
that?
just
Can I
for
crash
you.
that party?
hell yeah.
What was y'all improv group name?
Oh man, this was so there was a group in Worcester called the Federation of Belligerent Writers.
Okay.
Not a federation.
It was a
FBWs.
federation, yeah. And we all wore costumes, and we got up on stage and write while the audience threw shit at us.
Nice.
And yeah,
Does that still happen?
No, it ended bad.
Damn.
I wasn't the reason it ended. Nobody died, so I can't take credit for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the idea is this is kind of like there's a point in your 30s for a creative when you've been trying to be creative for about half of your life. And if there's no success there, it's depressing, and it's like, fuck it. I'm going to go out spectacularly because I can't stand to live normally.
Very true. Very true.
I'm not, that's not about me, Mom. Sorry. Everything's okay. I'm fine.
I actually just saw like a post on Instagram about something like that, about just creating freely and just openly, and not allowing yourself to be in that fear mode of saying like, oh, nobody is supporting me, nobody is like is being a part of my team, but being in that the motion of God and truth, and just being like in the essence of trying to complete what you're trying to create. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I do. I think that's what like we're kind of looking for is we're trying to build that family, that
Right.
like that not even a family, not a network, not a job, but like that calling. You want to find people who have that same calling inside them.
Community.
And I know this guy's got it.
Yeah.
All the way. I'm just following you with that.
Well, thank you very much.
Are you guys planning on working together with these other films, or?
Yeah, I have
I would love to.
earmarked a role in Going in the Woods to Die for Findlee. I want you to be. So when they show up to the cabin, I want you to be the creepy caretaker.
Yeah.
That like warns them, like, don't go out in mutant killer forest at night.
Findley is scary as
So
hell.
I put the character in mind. So when he told me about that, I visualized John Wick again. The lad who was the innkeeper. Remember that?
Yeah.
The one who he kept the inn. If they walk in and he gives you the card, your room is this, and in this inn you don't kill people. You know the rules. I picture him as that.
Yeah.
So he tells you where to go, where not to go. Probably give them a tour of everything, and then
yeah.
that's when they just
Hell yeah. For these future projects, are you trying to keep them as around like 7 minutes and have them be short, or are you trying to get them to be a little bit longer?
I would love to make something longer if I can spend somebody else's money to do it. Yeah, Going in the Woods to Die. I'm imagining it's going to be 30 to 40 minutes. It really depends on how much footage we can get of everybody in character. And I'd like the. I'm also writing a feature length version of Government Exorcists that I would really like to release as an audio play.
That sounds fun.
Government Exorcist, like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
The apocalypse,
what's
the
a
start of the
government
apocalypse.
So it's set in a Worcester that's overrun with demons, and there's an underfunded government agency of like supernatural social workers. I'm kind of thinking of it like a cross between lucha libre and cops, where the supernatural social workers they don't use religion, they use America. So it's like they're smacking somebody with a flag, or they have like a handful of peanut butter and they're smearing it on like holy water.
Yeah.
Like, Double Dutch was made in like the 70s in Brooklyn. Like that's an intensely American phenomenon. And I think there is a power to it if it is seized by people who intend to use it well. And like the problem is we are in a situation where the people with power aren't using it well.
True.
I hope that's not too controversial a statement.
Yeah, who'd you vote for? I'm just on this one. You don't have to say that.
Not Trump, I promise.
What draws you to horror?
I'm a little weird.
We all are.
It'd be that bad.
For people trying to put together their own productions, their own team, their own crew, what advice would you give them given this experience?
Start with what you have, and you have a lot more than you give yourself credit for.
That's facts.
Like, there is, even if you just have one angle on one room, you can do something with that if you have the right kind of conflict. And like, consider starting with drama. It's very tempting to go with horror and
Thriller, something like that.
yeah,
Suspense.
Like
thank
action.
you. Yeah, you like that's very tempting for new creatives. But I'm gonna say, start with drama. Start with romance.
It's
Yeah,
always drama.
like if you've
You wouldn't even believe what my favorite movie genre is.
Romance.
Porn.
Hallmark Christmas movies.
She got it. The
Romantic
rom-com.
Hallmark movies.
I'm a rom-com dude.
Rom-coms.
Yeah, no, that is honest. That's
Some Big Mama kind of thing. White chicks.
Actually,
Technically, it is because it's kind of romantic. Big Mama, she found Shanice.
That lady is not romantic.
is that a rom-com, really?
Martin.
I was gonna say, in Findley, for people who are trying to get it into acting and trying to find these experiences that you found, how would you go about like telling people how to navigate the acting world and how to find projects to be on?
Oh, that's easy. Personally, myself, I found my gigs from either connections or networking. I guess it's pretty much the same thing. So my my advice to folks is just have a community, or in the best way scenario, if you could find an agency to stick with, because it's all about credibility. If you say you're an actor and there is nothing to prove, people watch your stuff, people could tell whether they want you or not, right? So you have to actually put things out there. Just like you said, you never know what you have until you actually show it, right? That's when people see and say, oh, I actually fancy this, and I like the way you did it. How did you do it? Can you put me on? My straightforward advice is, if you're going in alone, it would take you longer, but always have a good community, always have a good network. That's what takes you further. In my case, it's always as having an agency or having folks like Malt here who could support you and say, hey, I know you have a great talent. Let me put you on something. And when you finally get that little chance, it could be the smallest little thing, put your life and your passion into it because you don't know who's watching you. Pretty much I could say. The same thing goes in my personal life too. I recently just... what was it, Sunday? I just recently won the, what do you call it? I'm not really big on saying my achievements though. The Male Actor Model of the Year.
Hey, let's go.
Hearing that, thank you. So, now hearing that is
Congrats, my
like
bro.
that shows that there's a lot more because I didn't. It's all about the people who voted for me and nominated me. I had no idea what's happening in the first place. They say, hey, you should probably come for the show. I'm like, why? I'll just model for it, and then I get called on and say, hey, you won this. That
Nice.
shows that people have been watching me without me even knowing. They've been observing and say, hey, I want to be like this person. I want to do what he's doing. What can I do to be more influential like him? I'm not saying I'm that influential. I hope I could be. I need to work on my social part of life because, that involves a lot more getting to know people and a lot more interaction. I'm naturally an introvert, but if I only speak when spoken to, when the conversation is healthy and fruitful or productive, then I engage in it. If it's something that, that could cue you down the line, I try not to engage with it because, again, you never know who's watching or listening to you. But to sum that up pretty much, I'll just advise everyone. If you're going to be a model or actor, just be true to yourself. Don't try to do what everyone else is doing just because they are making it. Don't tell someone else's or tell your time with someone else's clock. Don't look at your image with someone else's mirror because you don't know what they're going through for them to become that person. True. You take all the knowledge you can and add yours to make it yours. Otherwise you're just plagiarizing, right?
True.
Bars.
True.
That's all I have to say to that.
Nice.
Hey, man, you a real one, man, for saying that. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Thank you.
Heck yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to say about Let Me Buy Your Death, future projects, or just to the upcoming creative that wants to get some projects done?
Find folks at your level and do literally anything. It is so hard to do anything that whatever exists, no matter how slapdash, amateur, like bad on its face it is 1,000% better than something that does not exist. Infinitely better.
Very true.
100%.
Buzz.
And in my case, it flows with that pretty much. Find your community, find folks that you could engage with, and then personally, I am looking up to eventually get into the part of Gusset, Idris Elba, Denzel, Chris Washington, Bombay. Eventually, maybe I might find Marvel to get me in. What's this on? Black Panther. Black Panther 3.
Y'all heard that?
Never know. Because I just did a documentary today, actually, which is interesting, which is about Revolutionary War. And my character there was to be an African who was being, who's fighting for freedom. And I got to actually go deep into my African character by using the accent. I have to make sure the accent, our freedom is very good, right? Yeah. So that me having to do that, I'm like, okay. They were like, well, you might actually venture into these MCU movies as like an African person and come in there. I wouldn't mind saying, oh, we have come gathered for the Black Panther. I wouldn't mind that bit, right? If that's my part to play, I would play. But the idea is I set my goal high for that. So if they're listening, here is my chance. I am involved in, I fancied horror the most so far. I've also done comedy, I've done drama, I've done some fantasies also, I've also done action and supernatural. Those are the spread wide genres that I've gone in. I haven't seen a particular genre that I haven't particularly liked, but then again, that's what exploring is for, right? But those are the top ones that I really like, so if you are down for it, I am ready to shoot my shots and get up there and work with you folks.
Shoot the shot. And one more time, tell us about December 13th, and then where we can find your socials if people want to get in touch with you guys.
I'm on the TikTok at Malt Schlitzmann. It's debuting December 13th at the Meat for Tea Film Festival, which is likely in Western Massachusetts. I'm kicking myself for not looking this up ahead of time. So yeah, that is. I'm going to be posting some behind the scenes stuff, talking about it on TikTok. So that is where folks can find me the most.
Keep it lookout. And for me, my LinkedIn is pretty much Findlee Abraham, my first and last name. You'll find me easy. I'm the only one pretty much bearing that name the exact way it's spelled. There's a lot of Findleys, but you can't really find Findlee. In other words, I could easily be found. Google could pretty much tell someone in 2 minutes that, oh, you're looking for Findlee. He was in this apartment 2 hours ago. He might still be there. He's the only one that has that name. But yes, no, that's my LinkedIn username. And then for my Instagram, it's just Findlee.official_. And Facebook is simply Findlee Abraham. So I'm quite easy to find. And I hope that name becomes quite known very soon. So
Your lips to God ears.
exactly, yes. So fingers crossed. Find me and I'll find you.
Show and Tell Boston, and that's a wrap.
Good luck with the VMAs.
I appreciate you.
For reals, yeah. That is awesome.